Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 22 with our realistic series. Does anyone else remember? I think I lost some more money on something else. I lost money on something, but I can't remember what it was now. I should really make a note of the things that go terribly and horribly wrong for us, so that I know what has happened, and then we can count. But I do know that we're 3 for 3 on bad things happening. So I'm hoping that come September, something nice might happen. However, we all know that just because we want it doesn't mean that good things are going to happen. So if we lose crops, like lime doesn't count, diesel doesn't count, but potatoes, corn, soybeans, sunflowers, sorghum, well, the sorghum we're feeding to the chickens rather than selling it, because there's such a little amount there. I just thought it would be better if we fed it all to the chickens. We've now got 36,000 litres of barley. I wanted to keep that for... Actually, I think it was making seed, wasn't it? I'm sure there was something else we wanted that for. But anyway, yeah, we've got a lot of crops there. Potentially, we could still lose a chunk of one of those crops, and that does also include the potatoes. Right? I did talk about perhaps hiding the potatoes some way, and it was pointed out that if I'm going to play this fairly, then I need to play this fairly, and that means the potatoes are up for grabs if there's some major disaster, so we could lose half of the potatoes that we've got, or be forced, well, a chunk of them, or be forced to sell half of them straight away. Or all of them straight away at the lowest price available, which is just painful. And we got corn and soybeans. See, the corn, we want to use that for something. I can't remember what. The soybeans, I'm sure there was something that we wanted those for as well. All of these things, I think that we do actually want to use most of these different crops that we've got. I just can't remember what we want to use them all for right now. Easiest, of course, is just go and look it up. So barley is on the Seedmaster. The compost is, from what people said in the comments, the compost is literally just something for you to make, and you can get a load of money from it, and the prices do fluctuate quite a lot on it, so you can make a bit out of that. And then we want sunflowers, potatoes, and corn to make our pig food. Eventually, when we have pigs, we'll want barley and sugar beet for the Feedmaster. And then that's it. So I've got soybeans kicking around. Soybeans, then, we just want to sell them. That's a cash crop. I don't really have anything else at the moment that I want to do with those. We could take them, we could buy something and make them into oil, something like that. Soybean oil, I think there is a way that you can make soybean oil, but we don't necessarily want to do that. So what we can do instead is we have a look at the soybeans, and okay, we should have sold them last month. 1,384 is the best price. So 953 at the grain station right now is where we want to be selling our soybeans. I'm going to let the combine turn round this time, and I'm actually going to follow it across the field with this one. We have 26,000 litres in here right now. There's only 7,000 litres in the soybeans. So I think what we'll do is we will hitch up the tractor to our other trailer. I'm going to let this one turn around a minute and we'll empty it out. And then we'll get the tractor on our other trailer. We'll load up those soybeans and we will sell them. Because that's a cash crop thing. I don't want to keep them around for another year. They're just going to go bad. So sunflowers and corn and potatoes is stuff that we use. Sorghum we're feeding to the chickens. Oats and canola. I'm not actually sure what we're going to be doing with oats and canola. I'm thinking both of those are cash crops. We can, in theory, be going and buying more factory units at some point and doing stuff with them, but there's nothing on the base game stuff right now that we want either the oats or the canola for, so I do think that those are ones that we should be selling as well. I did say previously that I don't want to sort of trick the system with keeping more crops than I need to, because of, you know, potentially avoiding a serious loss. We want to be running this as a farm, so we need to be kind of working on the assumption that we're not going to make a serious loss every year. And instead what we'll be doing is just making a boatload of money. So we want to sell those crops. So I'm thinking canola and also everything that we're getting now. This is all to be sold. I think canola sells in the winter. I don't know when oats sell. I don't know when the best time to sell those is. I'm just going to bring this one round and we'll head back over this side of the field. All the way over here. And I'll park this one up. And he's ready to take another load from the combine in a bit. Let's bring him back over there. And you can stop right there. And then oats. The best time of the year for selling oats is December. Canola is November, apparently. Although that might have been a great demand that did that. So right now, I want to quickly sell those soybeans. So I want this tractor, because it's the fastest one we've got. I will leave... Actually, you know what? I'm not going to leave that one there, because I want no machinery here if I'm going to be moving the greenhouses later. So I'll put it over here. I'll set it loading on the water, and I'll see if that does actually allow it to load properly. It might not. You never know. Right. I can still hear it loading, so that one's absolutely fine. Now, somewhere around here, I've got a trailer. I could actually use the Marston trailer that we've got, because I've only got 7,000 litres of soybeans, so I don't need the bigger trailer for that job. So I could use that trailer over there. Is it Marston? I think it's Marston. Marshall. That's a Marshall. Yeah, Marshall trailer. Right. We'll grab this one. So if I get... Actually, we can do two things. We can kill two birds with one stone with this one. We can feed chickens. Though we don't actually want the chickens being killed, do we? That's not necessarily a good thing to be saying. We're talking about feeding our poor chickens. Let's run in here. So first up then, I will take that one. Wheat, barley, oat, canola, sorghum. I will load a bit of sorghum in there. We don't need very much, because they only take about 2,500 litres in the chicken pen anyway. Out round that way. And then I've got to get the trailer in there to feed the chickens. It's very awkward to get in here. This is really not the easiest one to maneuver into to feed these things. I don't know if there's some other way that you're supposed to do it. I mean, you can sort of back in there, alright, going over the road. But I built this entrance over here. That wasn't there previously. And now I have 314 litres left in the trailer. We'll go and tip that back out again. And then once we have done that, we can load up our soybeans. Bounce off through there. Head bouncing off the roof there as we go through. Does actually do that. If you go over a bump too hard with the tractor, you can actually thump your skull into the roof of the tractor cab. It's not the most pleasant of sensations, trust me on this. Let's come on round again, and now we can load up the soybeans. Okay, sorghum, grapes, olives, sunflower, soybeans, start. Where are we taking them? That's the next question. 950 at the grain station. Okay, I don't know where the grain station is. I think that's here in town. Distribution, plain distributor, lime station, debris crusher, no, gas station, Coronella, Fertinella, East Biogas, methane. Grain station is up there. Right, okay. So I want to go out across here, up to the road, and then down the road to the grain station. So that's where we're going to head with that one. You up here, you've got 5,000 litres on board, so you're absolutely fine. We don't need to worry about you. I've been watching you quite a bit already. We've got the bit where it is on the hill. This combine's a little bit industrious with taking a full wide swath, so it tends to leave some little bits behind, which is slightly irritating because it means I've got to go back and tidy it up afterwards. It would be better if the hired help didn't have quite such a width on it, but there's nothing that you can do about that. It's just that particular one is set up in that particular way. So we're going to come out here, and we're going to head up this way. On round here. And we'll go and sell the little bit of soybeans that we've got. Wheat as well is another one that we're going to potentially want to do something different with. This is the way that I want to go. Because I haven't got anything to use the wheat for, unless I keep that and feed that to the chickens as well. So it could be that we do that. He's leaving a lot behind on the side of this hill here this time. Really like that. I wonder if we're going to be able to get the whole crop into one trailer load. Possibly. No, actually, I don't think we will. Because this now is going to be another 10,000 litres going in there. So it's one more combine full, and I think there's a lot more there than one combine full. So, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. But I've got a few strips that I'm going to have to go back over a bit later and tidy up. That's alright, we can deal with that. Right, let's chase you up across the fields. And get another load of grain in our trailer. So we'll go forward as far as we can and fill the back of the trailer up now. We've got a good weight at the front over our wheels, so now we want to start filling it from the back. Although you can't see at all in this one from the lorry, you just have to trust the combine driver, because he'll tell you when to pull back a little bit as you go along. At least they have in my experience when you've been doing something like this. Normally, though, when I was doing this kind of job, I was driving a tractor and I could see what was going on in the trailer myself, so I just kind of did it like that. Right. He's going to stop there, so he's going to turn round and he's going to go back and he's going to do the other little bit here. So I'm just going to leave the lorry there, and he's going to finish out that little section there, and then once he's done that, we'll have to move it over. So we can tidy up these bits that have been left behind. While we're waiting for that to happen, we can whiz off down this way, and we can sell these few soybeans that we should have sold earlier in the year, but we didn't. This time, however, we are remembering to sell them. What's in there? Oh, that's sugarcane. We are actually remembering to sell them this time. And eventually, I think we will try and buy the... Whether we buy this mill here. I don't know what happens with this mill. What products we can get from it. That's where you're supposed to go. You go in around that bit, so then you can go straight across the road to turn in. But you'd normally do that with a bigger trailer. Like, we've just got a little tiny trailer here, so we don't need to do it for that. Bring that one right up over there. And soybeans, 7,387 litres. Another little tiny bit of money going towards our grand total. So we've got another 7,000 euros right there. And I should be able to just drive right on round the building. Come out again on the other side. Whiz up through here. And again, see, we can go straight across the road there, and then you pull out onto the road over here for travelling on up this way. We should have our beacons on while we're going on the road here. And then we'll turn off on the lane up there, just there on our left. See, I'm even indicating, look at that. And I'll turn the beacons off, and also my indicators. That field there is going to be a bit awkward to do because of the pylons that are going across the middle of it. It's always a bit of a nuisance, the fields with pylons across the middle of it. But it's quite, like, I kind of like it because it is a realistic thing. It's irritating. Don't get me wrong, it is very irritating. But at the same time, it's also quite good that you have it there. One thing I'm curious about is whether we could get a mill. I kind of want to have a mill. Let's move this one out of the way, because eventually I'll want to be bringing stuff in here, like my lorry that I've got. So if I just drive you up here a second, bring you round that way, and reverse you up here. Like that. There. Right. What have we got in the way of mills? So it's a production thing. Now, the La Coronella stuff itself doesn't have a mill. It's got the pallet factory there, and then that's it. So if we were to have a mill, it would have to be something separate and different. We've got the grain mill extended. You can make the pig food there. It's got a few bits that can go into it. You've got a standard grain mill here. Another one. There's a couple of different... There's a modernized flour mill, which allows us to make cakes. And for some reason, we can get stone out of this one as well. Quite sure why we get stone out of it. There's all kinds of options. We've got soy drink that we could go and make from soybeans if we decide to do that in the future. Extended oil plant. That's one that I was looking at, because you can have corn oil and also soybean oil, as well as the olives, sunflowers, and the canola. And then we've got these EU factories, the grain mill right there. Dry corn add-on I wasn't going to worry about. It's basically, what do I want in the way of a mill? Like, that's kind of what I want to do to start with. I think one of the first non-Coronella things that we'll get is some sort of mill, but I don't know what sort of mill to get. Because we've got that wheat, and it just doesn't seem right selling the wheat just as it is. So I kind of want to get some sort of mill set up that we can do a few things with. So there, I've got another one. That just takes the 4 basic ones that would go into it. There's a packing facility. Food factory there. No, I don't want that. Oh, packing facility mod. That's what that is. It gives a whole load of extra things there that you can kind of pack up. No, I don't want pancakes. I don't know. There's a grain mill there that does also do oil as well, which possibly is one that we could go and use. We've got a grain mill there. There's a fairly basic one. So possibly we could add something like that to the map at some point. I'm not quite sure. I'm not going to worry about it now. What I am going to do is... Combine has finished doing this bit. So we're going to tidy up these little pieces that it's left behind. Gather those up. I don't know how much more crop we're going to get from doing these bits. 3907. 3914 with 7 litres from that bit. What a terrible waste. Yeah, another 7 litres from that bit. So there is actually some crop that's been left behind here. It's not just a tiny bit. There is actually some bits of crop here. I'm thinking that I should probably turn the straw chopper on for this so that it's not just going to leave a mess, and it's going to also make it a bit easier to do the baling, because I don't want a massive mess left everywhere. Although, doing that, I think that actually counts as a little bit of fertilizer. I go over there. Yeah, see? Little tiny splash of fertilizer. I think there's actually now a problem with the 1.9 update with textures. If you try and plough, when you've got the chopped straw texture, it leaves the chopped straw texture on the ground, like over the top of the ploughing. And I gotta be honest, I'm a little bit confused as to how something that significant made it through the testing phases. However, we have seen stuff like this previously. There was the whole fiasco with the hired help, not the hired help, with the contract system being completely and utterly broken for quite a number of patches. And I don't even know if it's been fixed yet. I haven't actually asked it. Has the contract system finally been fixed? Can you now do contracts properly in multiplayer? Because there was, for quite a while, the contracts were just not working. You went to get a contract and it just disappeared from you completely. There was no option to do the contract or anything. It just vanished completely. And for this bit here, I'm actually leaving the straw behind. I just wanted to see how much straw does get left behind from one of these passes. Not a lot. There's really not very much there, is there? Right. So, yeah, I'm quite curious. Get in the comment section. Has the contracts thing finally been fixed? Or when was it fixed? I have no idea. I haven't really been paying much attention to it because I haven't really done very many contracts in a very long time. I got fed up with doing those. But I know that for some people, contracts is quite a big thing. And I know there was a number of people that actually just stopped playing the game completely because the contracts broke and you just couldn't do them. I think you could do maybe a cultivating contract, and that was about it. All the harvest stuff, all the more fun contracts, that they all just completely stopped working. The contract would be there for the briefest of seconds, and then it would vanish completely. And then they put out a fix for it, which didn't actually fix anything at all. Just left it deeply, deeply broken. And then there was some other... Well, after that, I kind of lost track. I genuinely don't know what happened after that. So I'm curious, in the comments, if you please, peoples, sirs, madams, what happened to all of the contracts? Did they ever actually fix that? You know, there's probably a way that I could find this out. If I was to just scroll on down here and go to contracts, I've got baling there. See, I don't know if this is something to do with the mods or not. I've got cultivating, I've got harvesting. That does indicate that perhaps they have fixed the contracts, because I've got contracts here. There's harvesting contracts that they all seem to be available. And then we've got supply and transport. Huh. It would appear that maybe the contract system has been fixed. I don't know when it was fixed. I didn't pay much attention to that. I probably should, considering that I do spend rather a lot of time playing this game. So I should really focus on what happens in it. Now, anyway, is there anything else that I want to do over this side? Those greenhouses are now empty, so I could go and do something with them. Although I'm not going to. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to watch this one finish up what he needs to do here. And you know what? Rather than risk it doing a line further along than I want it to, I'm going to just manually do this one. And then I can take it straight back over the trailer and we can empty it out. So then the combine is completely empty and I can start it going around the next field. The lorry, we can run that back to the farm and we can tip that out. The chickpeas, we will hold them until winter and then we will sell them. I don't see anything else, so that's going to be cash crop situation. The oats that we've got in storage, I'm thinking that we could potentially, by the winter, have a mill that we own. If we own a mill by winter, then the oats could be turned into flour. The canola, if we were to get a mill that can also process oil, then we'll put the canola through the mill as well, and we'll do that. If we don't, then we'll sell the canola straight away in the winter. But I'm kind of thinking I would like building a mill of some kind that will process both of them together. And we're going to be doing this silage soon. We've got a whole load of sugar beet that we want to harvest as well. But we've got the silage that we're going to be doing. So when we do that silage, what we can do is we can also take it and turn it into money pretty quickly, and that should get us enough money that we can then go and buy a mill and we can sell some of our, well, we can process some of our crops through the mill into oil and flour, and then we can sell those afterwards, which I think is actually going to be a better option than just selling them straight away. I'm just going to put that one there a second, and then I'm going to skip over to this one. And we're going to run this back to the farm. So we've got 51,800 litres of chickpeas, which is absolutely fantastic. What do they sell for? I didn't pay much attention to what the high price was on the chickpeas. Chickpeas, right there. They go up to 750. Right, so 3/4 of 52,000 is going to be 27 639. We'll get just under 13. Why am I going out this way? I shouldn't be going out this way, but I have now, so we've already committed. Let's follow this one on round. We will get just under 40,000 euros for our chickpeas when we sell them in the winter. That's pretty good. Now, if we can get the money for the mill before that, that would be absolutely great, because I think the flour, around the time that we want to be selling the chickpeas, is when the flour is reaching its best price as well. So ideally, we'd want to have processed the oats before that point. That would be the best option if we can. We might not be able to do that. If not, then selling the chickpeas then is going to be about right. We've also got the lentils as well. I suspect that's going to be similar. I'm parking on a hill now, which is a really dumb idea. That's 800, that is. That's even more. I don't know if the yield is going to be similar. So if we assume that we can make roughly 80,000 euros from selling just these two crops, we've got some other crops that we do get some money from as well. We've got the stuff from the greenhouses. That's a little bit of extra, a little bit coming from the chickens. And then we'll also have the money that we'll be making from our silage harvest that we're going to be doing. We should be in a position that we can definitely buy buy a mill in order to start making some flour. So that's one investment that we will make. And in order to celebrate that, I think we should have a crop of wheat in at least one field prior to next year, so that we can turn it all into more flour. So the wheat that we've got in storage and the oats, will turn both lots of those into flour. And then after that, I'm not quite sure, because obviously we got the stuff for the La Coronella map that we want. So we're going to want to buy sheep. We're going to want to buy the pigs. We're going to want to buy the cows. Basically, we want to expand out and get everything that the map has to offer. That's still something that I want to do. That's not something that I've forgotten about. That is still something that I would like to actually try out and do. So I'm going to go to you right there. And then I'm going to skip over to this one. And I'm going to head down this way a second. And I'm going to turn around and I'm going to start sort of here on this corner. Unfortunately, folks, that is all we have got time for today. A massive thank you to everybody who has earned their way into the Great Book of Names. To find out some more details about all the names coming past, please head into the description and click on the link to the Discord. It's a link to another video. The link is on the other video. Please also consider checking out the links there for Nitrado, who provide gaming servers for games like Farming Simulator, Minecraft, Ark, and several others. And there's also Fanatical, who will help support your gaming habit by providing you with cheap games and also giving me a small commission on anything that you buy using my link. If you've enjoyed this particular video, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.